first gig in Manchester for 4 years.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Where have you been?
Where have we been? We've been making records, making babies, touring. You know, usually play. Well, the last time I played Manchester, it was the start of the last tour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That last tour we done, the Don't Believe the Truth tour, was the biggest world tour we've ever done. So that went on for nearly a year and a half. And then, you know, we make records, got to have a holiday now and again, you know.
I'm sure you've been back, you know, since then, but
Oh, yeah.
London 15 years, what does it feel like when you get home now? Is it home now? Or is it
I have to say, when I first left, I couldn't wait to get out of Manchester because all the gang stuff and the Hacienda thing and all that, and it seemed that it would kind of petered out a bit. And I used to go to London, and it was really buzzing, and I was glad to get out. But the older that I get, and the more I come back, I kind of regret leaving now. You know, I kind of walk. I mean, I was out walking the streets today, and I wasn't here. You know, when the IRA bombed it, it's completely changed now. Some of the streets aren't there anymore, and stuff like that. So that kind of throws me a little bit. But I still know all the shortcuts out to get, you know, places quiet. I know the back way up to the Northern Quarter and stuff like that. And
do you go and knock on your old friends' houses and stuff? Or is that all gone now?
No. My friends, I'm still in touch with them. They're all kind of there in hospital. Yeah, I'm still in touch with most of them. But I used to live on Whitby Street in the centre of town, so there wasn't really a neighbourhood. You know what I mean? I lived in a block of flats, so I still actually was in touch with my next door neighbour who actually used to live above me in the flats in Indian House today actually. So I still keep in contact with the people. It's not. I kind of went out today and just had a mooch around the streets. And
what was the reaction like when you meet people?
Well, they don't really. There's the odd one notices you, but before they've realised what's happened, you're kind of gone. You're gone. Do you know what I mean? You do hear the odd whisper like follow him, see where he's going. But you know, I don't mind. It's something that I'm used to now. I've been used to it for 15 years, so it doesn't really bother me at all. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You get mobbed by a lot of girls. There's worse things in life, you know?
What is it, 15, 16 years on with the band? What does that say about Oasis? Surely the only band in Britain who can, you know, command that sort of, you know, respect from the fans and loyalty. Well,
I try not, for the sake of this interview, we'll try and analyse it. I mean, I don't really sit at home and think, wow, you know, I just kind of live it and I put it down to magic, do you know what I mean? But all over the world, over the last 5 or 6 years, I've seen the audience kind of went from people our age to a new generation of people. So it says a lot for the songs, I think, that particularly the first album is like one of those albums like Nevermind the Bollocks now, or one of the great kind of classic albums that's been passed down generation to generation. And I think we operate from a place of truth, do you know what I mean? We don't bullshit people, do you know what I mean? We never indulge ourselves on the stage. You won't find anybody in this band who thinks he's Jimi Hendrix or Mick Jagger, and we just are who we are, and I think people put a lot of stock in that. And you know, an Oasis concert is a joyous thing. You know, I stand on stage some nights and think I wish I was down there when everyone's going bananas, do you know what I mean? But the gathering of Oasis fans, they sing those songs at the top of their voices, it's kind of addictive.
In the late 90s you went to Downing Street and saw Tony Blair. If you were invited back now, you know, in the midst of all this expensive scandal and everything, would you go back?
No, well, I wouldn't. Well, not for a start. I think that was in the 90s, and it was a very different time. It was a very celebrity-led, and we were all. I mean, I'd voted for. I mean, I'm not embarrassed by that. I'd voted for Labour. I voted for Labour all my life. You know what I mean? And I spent 7 years on the dole. You know, so it was quite a like, oh wow, going into 10 Downing. Not that I thought, you know, that.
It was a massive achievement from where you...
Well, I didn't really think about it like that. I just, you know, you see that front door on the news all your life, from Winston Churchill to Margaret Thatcher and all that and all the history, and it's like, wow, I'm actually going to go out see what's inside that house, you know. But I'd be surprised if the Labour Party lasts much longer. I mean, I'd be surprised if anybody votes in the next general election. I mean, it's been such...
Which is a dangerous thing, isn't it?
Well... But then the politicians are to blame because, you know, politicians are supposed to be inspiring. Like they seem to be in the 50s and the 60s. Do you know what I mean? But these lot, the Labour Party now have been shown up to be just the same as the Conservative Party. Because round about the time of '97, in that doing up to that general election, they were casting the Conservatives as crooks and out of touch with the people and da-da-da and all this, and they're all in it for themselves. Now we're 12 years down the line, and it's come full circle. It's exactly the same, you know. And I think ultimately what it will now base on is tax. And at the end of the day, people don't want to pay as much tax as Labour Party is now taxing people, so the Conservatives will get in. But in my mind, I won't be voting for any of them.
Quickly, Manchester City. Last time we spoke, yeah, they'd been taken over. But did you really expect like, a £110 million bid for Kaka? Over 100 million spent on players?
Well, the thing with Kaka I thought was a little bit ludicrous anyway. I mean, you could see in your heart of hearts he was never going to come to City, and why would he? You know, put yourself in Kaka's position. You're like, right, I'm at AC Milan. I could go to any club in the world. Any club in the world would pay me 100 grand a week. Man United, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Or Man City. Can't even get in the UEFA Cup. I don't know. You know. So that was ludicrous. But the fact that I think it was more of a statement of intent. But the fact that they bought Gareth Barry last week, I think is a major signing. The more I think about it, the more stunning it becomes, do you know what I mean? Because if you're going to have an English spine in your team, he's as rare as rock and roll shit. He's a left-footed midfielder. There isn't any in the entire league. And we've got, you know, if you're thinking the two midfielders money can't buy, Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, you know, who's the next best? He is, you know. And as long as he looks good in the kit, he's got a good run. He doesn't run like a girl. He's never missed a penalty. He rarely gets sent off. He actually looks like a City player, apart from the fact he looks a bit like Nigel Clough. But he's alright. If he grows his hair a bit, I wonder what music he's into.
Oasis.
You better had be.
How's it going with you yourself at the moment? I've read something about with Leah just sat over there that he's not seeing your daughter or something, or was that total?
No, that came out wrong in the wash.
Is
No,
everything okay with Liam?
He's alright. We get on. We make Oasis work for you.
So it's all just for us?
It's all just for you. It's like you're our kids and we stay together because of the kids.
Really?
Well, you know, it's like when
so everything isn't rosy then?
Well, we're in our 40s now, do you know what I mean? We've got kids, we lead separate lives. It cannot come as any shock to anybody, surely to God, do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't be in this little gang forever, do you know what I mean? I've got my own life for my own kids, and, you know what I mean? It's like, when it comes to the Oasis work, we make it work.
But you're still brothers though, aren't you? You're still family.
Yeah, of course, well, I'm working on that.
Your mum would go mad.
I can divorce him through the courts if I want.
Who gets what?
Well, I get my older brother Paul. Liam can have me, ma'am.